What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I'm gearing up for a great night of boxing. You have Mikey Garcia. He's facing off against Roman Rocky Martinez. I'm looking forward to that fight. See how Mikey Garcia does at a more comfortable weight. He had some issues in his last fight making weight. Plus, he has a new strength and conditioning coach, Alex Ariza, who seems to have gotten his body in tremendous shape, probably the best shape that I could recall seeing just from the eye test. We also have Nonito Donaire making his return after a crushing defeat to Yadimo Rigondeaux. And even I'm actually looking forward to Demetrius Andrade and Vanes Martirosyan as well. It looks like there was some bad blood. If you guys got to see the weigh-in, they did a stare down, and then they were saying something you can't really hear, but it looked like they were talking shit, and both fighters looked like there was bad blood. And then Demetrius pushed him, and then obviously Vanes got mad and tried to push him back, and a scuffle almost ensued. So looked really good. Looked like there was some bad blood. They're both undefeated. I'm looking forward to that fight. In this video, I want to give you my prediction for the Nonito and Vic Darchinyan fight. Really easy prediction for me to make. A lot of people count Nonito out based on what happened in his last fight. However, I think that's unjust. Still think Nonito's a good fighter. However, you're in against a supreme strategist and sharpshooter like a Mayweather or a Rigondeaux. A loss to them doesn't mean you're just garbage. So I don't know. I don't know what people are expecting. Same thing with Canelo. I think Canelo can bounce back. He's young. Losing to Mayweather, it's not the end of the world. If he lost to like 41-year-old Shane Mosley, who hadn't won in a while, then that's something different. But as far as Vic Darchinyan and Nonito Donaire, I have Donaire winning all the way. I see it being probably another stoppage, a TKO stoppage. I think he's gonna go out to make a statement. I think he wants to prove the people who doubt him from the Rigondeaux performance. Think he wants to prove him wrong. I think this is actually happening at a higher weight, so that's going to benefit Nonito more than it does Vic Darchinyan because he's the bigger frame fighter. I think Nonito still has speed and power, even though that didn't really show. He's already had his baby, so that was kind of one excuse why he didn't look good in the Rigondeaux fight. He had the distraction of his wife being pregnant with their first child. That's no longer an issue. He had some kind of shoulder spur injury that he has rehabbed and he has had the surgery for. That was another excuse. That is no longer a factor. And just the motivation of losing his last fight after a long win streak, I think he's going to come in really focused. And he trained with Robert in Oxnard, I believe, for most of his training camp. So he made some adjustments. He left his home in Vegas. He went and trained actually in Oxnard. He made some adjustments. I believe he worked with Alex Ariza as well. So I just see Nonito winning. Another thing with Vic Darchinyan, he seemed like the same fighter from the first time they squared off to now. He seems pretty much like the same fighter. However, I think in the lower weight divisions, Vic Darchinyan was more effective. His power was more shocking. Nowadays, in the higher weight divisions, I don't think it's as impressive or as startling to the other fighters. But in the lower weight divisions, he was cracking. But as he started fighting bigger dudes and dudes that could take a different punch in the higher weight classes, I think that's kind of been nullified. He still has some power, so he still is a threat, but it's clearly not as impactful as it was in the lower weight divisions. Plus, I just don't see him as that much of an improved fighter. He seems like pretty much the same fighter, whereas Nonito, I think, has elevated his game. He's learned from his different experiences, and even the loss to Rigondeaux has taught him something. So I think he's probably the fighter who's showed more maturity as far as where they were when they first fought to now. And again, he's the bigger fighter, the faster fighter. I think he's the stronger fighter, more power, just overall more sound. I think a lot of people put a lot of stake in the fact that he lost to Rigondeaux. But again, I can't stress this enough. This is a dude that has like 400 plus amateur fights and a great record, a great Cuban schooling. So a loss to him, he's a master boxer, he's a master chess player. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean you're horrible. In fact, I think if Vic Darchinyan fought Rigondeaux, he might actually get stopped early. Like I don't see him lasting 12 rounds like Nonito did, even though Nonito was on Queer Street and really had to bite down in the 12th round because Rigondeaux was fucking him up in the 12th. Um, I don't see Vic Darchinyan beating Rigondeaux either. So, again, a loss to Rigondeaux is not the end of the world. So, I just see Nonito doing Nonito, stopping Vic Darchinyan rounds 5 to 7, possibly even earlier. Vic Darchinyan, I just haven't been that impressed. I watched him fight the Puerto Rican prospect, and he beat him convincingly. But again, this was a prospect. This was someone who was taking the first step up, and then Vic Darchinyan showed why he's the veteran, and he beat the kid. So I forget the Puerto Rican's name off the top of my head, but he did what he had to do to an unproven prospect. In the fight with Anselmo Moreno, Moreno frustrated him, was too slick for him, and Moreno doesn't even have punching power. So imagine Nonito Donaire with punching power. Darchinyan didn't look great in that fight. In Darchinyan's last fight, even though he stopped his opponent, he fought against Gallo, and in the first round he was winning, and later on in the round it looked like Gallo caught him and hurt him. So I think overall Vic Darchinyan puts himself in. He has a really herky-jerky style, really herky-jerky, and he puts himself in harm's way, and he takes unnecessary risks, not really mindful of defense, and I just feel like he's going to get caught with something sharp, probably that Nonito left hook or something. I just feel like he puts himself in harm's way, and he's not really mindful of what's coming in, and he opens himself up a lot. And against a person like Nonito Donaire, especially Nonito with the grudge based on their first fight, Darchinyan doesn't like the way it ended. And in this press conference, he had a lot to say. He was basically saying he'd rather die in the ring than to lose to Nonito again and stuff like that. So I think all this is going to amp up Nonito, make him really focus, and I see him stopping Darchinyan, who just opens up too much and really hasn't matured or evolved his fight game that much that I could see from the time they first fought to now. So I think it's a look good fight for Nonito to make him look good, get him back in the mentions and on the A side as opposed to the B side after his loss to Rigondeaux. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. And let me just say for the record, whatever graphic artist designed this flyer for Nonito versus Vic Darchinyan, they did a horrible job. They picked the worst pictures of Nonito Donaire. Nonito's hair looks horrendous to me. It looks like a character from Dragon Ball Z or a Tim Burton movie, Edward Scissorhands or some shit. Looks extra emo. And then Vic Darchinyan just looks like a fucking child pedophile. Like he'd be on To Catch a Predator. Hi, I'm Chris Hansen. Like he'd be on Megan's Law or something. Vic, look, come on, Vic. You gotta do something with this pic, Vic. Yeah, so I just had to add that because I was staring at this picture as I was doing the video and I was getting fucking creeped out.